here, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to come and do a quick video discussing the difference between closures and frontals. As you guys may or may not know, I make wigs, I do a lot of installs, and I own an online hair boutique. So I get this question a lot. My clients always want to know, or especially people who are just getting into wigs and are interested in, wearing frontals, wearing wigs, or protective styling options. They always want to know, well, what's the difference between a closure and a frontal, and which one do I need? Which one is best for me? So I thought that I would do a video to kind of help you guys out. Anyone out there who is kind of in that same dilemma and really don't know like where to go and what is what, I'm here to save the day. Don't worry, I'm going to explain everything to you and then tell you what I recommend for what it is that you're trying to do. So I don't have any closures on me to show you guys, but I do have a frontal and I can give you all the basics, just basically showing you what this looks like. So this is a 13x4 frontal from NeoreHair.com. This is the cashmere curl, and this is what the inside of a frontal looks like. Frontals come in sizes 13x2, 13x4, and 13x6. Now this, our most popular, is the 13x4, and what that means is it's 13 inches from ear to ear, which would be from here to here, and then about 4 inches of parting space from front to your apex, so front to the top of your head. So right here to here is usually about 4 inches of parting. There are some frontals that give you 6 inches of parting, and then there's other frontals that are smaller that give about 2 inches of parting. It just depends on how far you want to part back and where you want to part. Now, the cool thing about frontals is that, again, they're ear to ear. So this is basically what it's going to look like when you order it. It is a piece of Swiss lace material that has hair hand tied to the lace to create the illusion of a scalp. Now this is my favorite option for protective styling, only because it is so versatile. You can literally part a frontal anywhere you want to part it. You can part, I have on a frontal right now, and as you guys see, I have a side part. If I wanted to, I could have a middle part, and I could also have, this side part as well. With frontals, you can pull them back. A lot of times people have baby hairs around the perimeter of their hairline with the frontal. And the purpose of a frontal is really to kind of give that illusion of an actual hairline. So to make the wig look as realistic as possible, in case the wind blows in your face, the frontal is there. If it's secured down, if you have someone who makes your wigs or who's installing your frontal who knows what they're doing and they know how to customize the frontal good enough, it will look like it is growing out of your scalp. And that is called a slay. Hashtag slay. Now frontals are gonna run you a little bit more in price. They do start around $100, I believe, just because they are very, very, very versatile. Like this is like a whole bundle in itself and what it does for your hair and the completion of a particular style. And then also wearing or adding a frontal to a wig or to a style really allows you to be able to style it anyway. If you have a frontal on a wig, it could potentially last longer depending on how you take care of it, but it could last a long time because you'll be able to do so much with it. Now moving on to closures. Closures are a 4x4 piece of Swiss lace material that has hand-tied hair. So the human hair, the same hair that would be in a bundle, that hair is pretty much not sewn to the weft, but it is hand-tied onto this Swiss lace. A closure is going to be a 4x4 piece of lace, and which is only going to sit right here in the middle of your head. It'll give you 4 inches of parting space across the front of your head and 4 inches of parting space from your hairline to the middle of your head. And this is what it looks like, or what it looks similar to. And what I just did is just fold up that frontal, and this is pretty much just to give you an idea of what a closure would look like. I will insert a picture here as well of some of the closures that are on the Neore website, just to give you a better visual. But this is pretty much what it would look like. It's really just, a small section of hair that's really only gonna go in one section of your head. Now, closures are good. When I first started wearing wigs, I wore closures mostly because frontals weren't really a thing yet. I started wearing wigs back in like 2011, and it was really only closures. Like that was pretty much the only option that we had besides doing a U-part wig. But I really did not want to damage my leave out, and that's what I was kind of seeing when it came to me making U-part wigs and getting sew-ins. I didn't like the sew-ins because I feel like the sew-ins, like, they put too much tension on my real hair, and I have a sensitive scalp. I found that I was getting sores, you know, my scalp would be bleeding, like, and it wasn't even like the people would braid, you know, tight, because it doesn't matter who I went to. I would always end up with the same issue. My head would be throbbing for 3 days in a row. The hair was super tight, super uncomfortable, and, you know, always kind of left me with just a bad, you know, taste in my mouth, so to speak, when it came to getting my hair done. So I knew that I had to find a solution. And the first thing that I did outside of U-part wigs is closures. And what I did was basically make a U-part wig and then attach the closure to the middle of that wig. And what that allowed me to do is it allowed me to basically part my hair how I normally would part it if I did have a sew-in, okay? And it still protected my leave out. The reason why I'm reiterating, you know, the sew-in thing is I feel like a closure is a great transition for someone who's been used to sew-ins for so long, because normally when you get a sew-in, you can only part your hair in one place, right? So if you get a sew-in and your leave out is in the middle, you're only gonna be bruh. So if you're someone who's used to getting a sew-in and you're only used to having like the middle part out, and you're probably tired of having that leave out be burnt and curled and, you know, just damaged over and over again, a closure may be perfect for you, because again, with the closure, it's only a 4x4 piece, so you're only going to be able to part where that closure is situated. Now, if you do have a wig with a closure on it, you can actually slide it over and, you know, make it a little bit more versatile. You can slide that closure over to the part, you know, to the side, to this side, wherever you want to. You can even create bangs out of it. So closures are very versatile as well, but their versatility is a little bit more limited than with a full frontal. So like I said, if you are someone who only wears a side part, you're not going to be pulling your hair back. You're not going to want to put it behind your ear. You're not going to want to put it up in a ponytail, half up, half down. You're not going to do any of that stuff. You only want a side part. That's that. That's how you always wear your hair, you know, or you want bangs. That's it. You only want bangs. You don't want nothing else. If that's where you're going with life, then you know, honey, a closure may be for you. You may be able to save a little bit of coin and go for the closure instead of going for the frontal. Closures start off a little bit less than frontals do. They usually start around, I want to say around like $80 and some change for a standard closure. And like I said, you can reuse those as well. Again, with installing closures, it's a lot cheaper to get a closure installed than it is to get a frontal installed, because the stylist does not have to do that much work. There's not a complete hairline that needs to be customized. It's only just a literal, you know, 4x4 part. And I've even seen some stylists who don't even customize that at all. They just gonna slap it on your head and let you have you know, a pencil thin part down the middle. Don't go to that stylist, okay? If you see that one on Instagram, don't go to that one. Either way, wearing a closure or wearing a frontal, your hair, if it's done by the right person, should look realistic. That is the purpose of getting one of these lace closures, so to speak. They're all considered closures because they close up the hair. You can still have baby hair if you have a closure instead of a frontal. There's still baby hair that comes on the closures as well. For both a closure and a frontal, people normally bleach the knots, which is kind of like lifting natural dark brown color out of the actual knots that are connected to the lace, which is holding that hair onto the lace. They pluck it to kind of thin out the density a little bit. They add baby hairs. They do all sorts of things to kind of make it look as realistic as possible. Now, if you are someone like me who enjoys versatility, then you probably would want to go for a frontal. I always tell my clients to go for the frontal just because I feel like you never know, you know, a year or two now from, you know, a year or two from now, you may want to revamp your wig and do something different with it. You may want to change your part. You may want to switch up your look. You may want to, you know, do whatever. You may want to add some color. And I feel like for me, and what I like to do with my hair, how creative I am with my hair, I always recommend that my clients do frontals, just because, you know, if you're having an off day, you can pull it back, you can pull it up, half down, you can do the little middle part thing that people like to do. You can do just really so much with a frontal, and if it's already in a wig, you know, that's less that you have to go back to the salon for them to position it a different way, okay? Another thing that I want to mention as far as customization goes, most companies do not sell frontals and closures that come already customized. Some of them say that they're already pre-plucked or whatever, but they're never really pre-plucked to the point where they actually look realistic. So that's something that you need to keep in mind. If you're going to invest in a frontal or a closure or something like that, you want to make sure that you also invest in a stylist that knows how to work with frontals and closures. I know that they are really popular right now. You know, all I'm saying is don't waste your money. Don't waste your investment, you know. So do your research first, ask around, see who's good at what, see who can recommend what. Overall, hair and good hair and a beautiful hairstyle is definitely an investment. Think about how much money you spend on a sew-in every month, pretty much to get like a frontal or something like that installed. I know that frontal sew-in installs, they only last maybe about 2 to 3 weeks. So if you're going to work with a frontal, you probably should just go ahead and get it made into a wig. That way you can reuse it over and over again. As far as installing goes, when it comes to frontals and closures, there are many different ways that you can install them. Some people like to use elastic band around the ends and just kind of pull it nice and tight and put it on just, I guess, like a pair of goggles, right? Some people like to sew it down as if it were a sew-in, and others like to sew it to a cap to, you know, make wig units out of it. Most people use some type of adhesive when they're applying frontals and closures. That could be your got2b glue gel, that could be actual, you know, Ghost Bond glue, but either way, you know, you want to make sure that that thing is secure, because it is not cute when you're out trying to pretend like this is your real hairline and then your hairline is sliding back behind your real hairline. So you want to make sure that you kind of get that under control as well. So yeah, I hope I explained that pretty well to kind of let you guys know what it is that you may or may not need, what the difference is between a frontal and a closure. I personally like both. Again, if you're getting like maybe a cheap wig, if you're using like some beauty supply store hair or some old hair and you just want to, you know, kind of make that hair into something really quick, don't waste your money on no frontal. Get you a cute little closure, make you a temporary wig, cut a bob in and do something and throw it to the side. Now if you're going to invest and you know you want the versatility, you want to be able to style it a bunch of different ways, you want to get your money's worth out of that thing, then you need to go with a frontal, okay? Ultimately it is your choice, you guys, but I will tell you that some of the best hair extensions can be found on NioraHair.com, and you can use my code Alanna Foxx for $10 off of your order. I have a lot of videos on my page that show you how to work with frontals and closures and, you know, installing and making and things like that. And I will have a lot more videos coming up as well. Make sure you guys are following me on Instagram, Snapchat for all of the updates and additional information. And just don't forget to connect with me. Reach out to me if you have questions. Ask me. I'm your hairy godmother for a reason, okay? I have good hair days. I want you to have good hair days. I want your sister to have good hair days. I want my sister to have good hair days. Wigs are here. They're here to stay. They've been here and now they're popular and now more people know how to do them. So the more the merrier. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them down below. I'm gonna go ahead and stop rambling now so I can go ahead and make some dinner. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until my next video, I love you guys. Bye.